Okay, so now I have my recording up, ready to go. I wanted to record some matches because I'm having a very hard time in dueling right now. I normally try to play Warden, but Orochis are proving to be the bane of my existence. Mind you, I've only been playing the game for a week. According to Steam, I have 117 hours already in because I've been non-stop playing. As I was saying, I'm having a real hard time fighting Orochis. Fighting the level 3 AI compared to fighting players is completely different. The AI actually uses different combinations. The AI will actually back up and use things like Shadow Strike and convert that into like a soft feint into a guard break or an overhead attack, and that really gets me. Whereas what I'm running into is just light spam, and I don't know what to do. In the campaign, even Shirazu used different combinations. He was the boss in 3.4, and on Realistic, which I have beaten Realistic, hence why I have the shenanigans on my shoulder there, on my chest. So, if I have enough time, right there, bottom right. Now, Shirazu was a frickin' jackass as an Orochi boss, but I still did it. These players... Now, I've only been playing since about a week now, and it's really infuriating when I run into Orochis. So I'm just going to record footage until I run into another Orochi. I'm going to record that fight, and then just get feedback, because I'm tired of people telling me, just parry. I can't parry these guys. I don't know what it is. I can parry the guys in campaign. I can't parry these. Conquer, okay. But, I'm just very frustrated at a lot of these assassin classes that do nothing but general light spam. It infuriates me, which is why I like the Berserker. It requires a little bit more precision. I like that. Oh, man. I have a very hard time in PvP. I just tried the entire day doing mouse and keyboard literally since 6 a.m. until about 3 hours ago, until 11 p.m. super excited, obviously, but... Wow, that was weird. Kicked my ass last round. Maybe because there wasn't really much room for him to use? I don't know.
Round 3.
I'll have to see.
See,
I want to run into Orochi so that I can actually say
Round 4.
my thoughts while I'm fighting the bastard, because I hate him so much. I don't normally play Berserker. I normally play Warden. I'm not really sure what to do here. Not sure how to punish the Conqueror. Stop it. Just... oh. See, why can't we parry after that? That doesn't make any sense. Well, not parry. I mean, why can't we get a successful guard break after we do that? After we get a parry off? That doesn't make any sense. If you parry somebody, there should be a large window to fuck them up. I don't get that. And that's part of why I hate Orochis, because they really screw me over. Hell, just dueling in general I hate in this game, because I'm new, and even though I've already played PvP for I'd say about 80 hours, I'm fighting people who've either played console and switched over to PC, or I'm fighting people that have no... how to put this? I'm fighting people that are just crazy good, and I can't learn anything from getting my ass kicked repeatedly. Like, if I was Ward in that last fight, maybe I could have used guard break a lot more, or a lot more feints. Maybe I should have done more feints, but that's a Conqueror, and they're infamous for being really defensive, and, well, I don't even have a single prestige on my Berserker. I've done maybe 10 games, most of which was Dominion. And even then in Dominion, I play like a dipshit. I wait for someone else to engage because I don't know what I'm doing as this guy. And I'm going up against people with over 100 rep, so I have to play like a fucking dipshit. Alright, let's see if this guy plays the Jackass class, yeah? But yeah, spoiler alert. Oh, perfect. The Jackass. Well, I might as well be polite. I'm not gonna have any fun with this. I hate Orochis so much. They're the worst. Aside from... hell, I just think a lot of Asian characters are... except for Shigoki. I think Shigoki is actually fair. Oh, jeez. Well, I think he already knows what's up. Oh, he's not doing light spin. Well, not yet. Oh, fuck. See what I mean? He's just... oh. Like, I don't get that. Parry that? Parry that? He was was a lot slower in campaign, okay?
Round 2.
It's so stupid how people tell you, parry the Orochi. Parry him. Yeah. Parry this guy. Fuck Orochi. Eat a dick.
Victory!
Hate Orochis. This guy's not doing what a lot of the other Orochis I run into do, and they just murder the ever-living shit
Round
out of
3.
me. That's why I got this guy, is because I've heard some people say if you're having trouble with Orochi, play a Berserker. That's exactly it right there. How do you counter that? How do you counter that? What am I supposed to do against that? I don't know. I have no idea what I'm supposed to
Round
do
4.
against that specific moveset. And people tell me, parry it. How do you parry that? You don't have the time to parry it. Watch, I'll try and parry. I'll try and parry this guy. It's not going to work out. See, how can I parry that? I don't get how you're supposed to parry that.
Defeat.
And that's why I went with this character, though, because it doesn't feel like bullshit to kill someone as Berserker. It feels like bullshit to fight an Orochi, and I'm never going to buy the character. I will refuse to play that character, because that character is ridiculous. As soon as he gets his combination off, you're screwed. You can't do anything, because he can do an infinite chain. People say, no, he can't. Yes, he can. Yes, he fucking can. He can just keep on light attacking you. Over and over. Just like the Kensei, just like the Aramusha. Those two can also do it. It's bullshit. All they have to do is side top, side top, side top. And I just got the same guy again. Like, what matchmaking is this? You know? He's just gonna go Orochi again. Because that's all he can do, is light spam. And I know I hear he's a noob crusher. Yeah, well, I'm a noob. How do I kill him? What do I do? I don't know. I'm not even going to give him the good luck, have fun crap. I'm not going to say anything, because I don't want to be rude, but I don't want to be polite to a dipshit either. And I'm not going to ask people to go and be a jerk to this guy for crushing noobs like me. But what the hell am I supposed to do to get better at fighting Orochi? When every Orochi I run into stomps my face, gives me zero feedback on how to beat them. And all the Orochi mains are like, oh, my class is fair and balanced. And I know he has no unblockable attacks. Or that. I thought you were supposed to have a small window of shit. Fuck. And I can't do anything because I'm out of stamina. See what I mean? Like, I even got one parry off that time. Screw Orochis. Screw them.
Round
and
2.
all the people that say they're not overpowered. Alright, from a new person's perspective, fuck Orochis.
Victory!
Fuck you. Eat a dick. I hate Orochis. I wish that I could choose what characters I don't want to run into, and I would pick Orochi every time not to run into. I'd pick all the Asian characters except for Shikoki. See, now he can't do anything. Fuck you. Eat a dick. As soon as I get one little shot in, he can't do anything because all they know how to do is spam, spam,
Round
spam.
4.
That's why I hate these guys. That's why I want them to be reworked. That's why I want them to be changed. I'm not gonna go and cry in the forums about it. Yet. If it really becomes a bigger problem later on. Fuck you. Getting my shit in. Eat it. Oh, he parried it. See, my attacks actually have a fucking window.
Victory!
Fuck you, Orochi. That's the first duel I've ever had that I won, and I'm pretty sure that there's plenty of people out there that play Orochi that would have stomped my face. But screw that guy. But yeah, I hate Orochis. So much. And there we go. I now have my footage. Screw Orochis. If you run into one, I'm sorry for you. I wish I could say that I can tell you what to do, but I don't know myself, because I've literally been playing for a week. And there's so many people that tell you, just get a parry, just get a parry. It's freaking hard for us newbies. It's really rough. And for the people that are like, oh, go to Warrior Trials. Well, guess what, buddy? I've done the Warrior Trials for parry. And you don't fight Orochis in this. You fight a Valkyrie, you fight a Lawbringer, you fight a Peacekeeper. Basically, what I'm trying to say is, I've never seen an Orochi in this mode at all. What are you supposed to do here? In most of these, you're either the Viking or Knight characters. In most of these, you're a Viking character. I think for the majority of these. I only went through this once when I first got the game. So the only time I've ever really had anything is this, where I go up against an Orochi bot. That's it. I have spent an entire day, 2 days ago, just fighting the Orochi bot level 2. That's the only thing that has gotten me anywhere, aside from the campaign. Because I did the campaign in realistic, where there's no combat reticle, so you don't see what stance they're in, you don't see what stance you're in. Right? The only time you can really get parries is you have to look at the weapon. And it makes me wonder, should I turn off my own reticle, and then go another day's practice and training to get stances down for each character, and parries down for each character without the reticle? But at the same time, I feel like it offers valuable knowledge, being what guard they're in. And getting rid of that knowledge isn't that great. I mean, yes, you can look at how their character's holding a weapon, and how their shoulders are and whatnot. Their stance is actually pretty telegraphed for what guard they're in, for each character. But if you really want to turn off your combat reticle, because there's some characters like Centurion you never saw in campaign, have fun learning all of that again. That's going to take another 2-3 days. I've been playing multiplayer for about 4 days, and Orochis are so infuriating. I normally play Warden, but my problem with playing Warden against an Orochi is all you have is the ability to feint, parry, and hope that you have the opportunity to get a light in. One of your side lights, preferably. If you're good enough to get the crushing counter-strike, I don't know what it is about it, it just feels like the parry timing and that timing are different. So I usually just go with parries on top. I ignore the fact that crushing counter-strike exists, because the window for its opportunity feels really small to me as a new player. I've maybe only pulled it off 3 times, or less. I know I've done it once, because what happens is you get the unblockable attack going down, and it's freaking great, but it does jack diddly squat for damage. It's like, what? Less than 15, less than 20? It's garbage. And my problem with Warden is, really your main source of damage is either consecutive light sides and shoulder charging to open opportunities for you, which isn't very good, or patience, really, That's all I can say about Warden is patience. That's all it is, because you have such a limited move set compared to so many other characters. And a lot of the new characters coming out have different stances or have really interesting gimmicks like the Shinobi or the Aramusha, whereas the Warden, all you get is the shoulder charge, which doesn't offer any hyper armor unless you get a full charge off. It can be interrupted by light attacks unless it's fully charged. And its tracking is garbage. Its movement is garbage. I've had people just every time I get a fully charged one, all you have to do is dash out of the way. So the time it takes you to charge, you're telling them, I'm going to charge you. And in a duel, why would you use charge? Unless you parry a guy and open the opportunity to start a shoulder bash chain of lights for a few quick lights hits. Because then you open an opportunity. But as an opener, I don't think shoulder bash is a good opener, especially from what I've seen on YouTube, where plenty of people just counter it with a light attack or their zone attack. They know what to do against a Warden. And yeah, Warden was just reworked. Cool. People are like, oh, Warden's so great. And I don't see how. I really don't. Like, all I can see is that experienced players know what to do with Warden to open opportunities for their top heavy, which is their main contributor for damage, especially in game modes like Dominion, where they generate their revenge, and there's maybe 2 or 3 guys on the same Warden, and he's getting his parries off, he's getting his blocks off, he knows how to use that external defensive mode, which is great. They know what they're doing. But as a new Warden, I understand how to play Warden, but I don't have the year of experience. I never played the beta, I never knew what Warden was like before the rework. And hearing all these people give me the same garbage advice at this point, and it really is garbage. Of course I know what a crushing counter-strike is. If you play a character, then one of the biggest things you need to do if you want to just get a general idea of that character is, one, look up guides, and two, there's this. Your movesets. Don't know how to do certain things? Then look it up online, like I did on Google. Or you have these videos, which are fantastic. They give you a rough idea. You know, like right there, he made an opportunity with shoulder bash. He didn't just use it as an opener. The Kensei threw the attack first, then he used it. And shoulder bash really just is another feint. It's another mind game. And the Aramusha does the mind game better. It really does. This fucker is amazing, and I hate him so much. He's like an Orochi and a Conqueror combined. I haven't fought a lot of players who play him, but the players I have fought who play Aramusha drive me nuts. The players who I have fought as Shinobi drive me nuts, and the only thing that has saved me against Shinobi is when they do the spinny shenanigans. Now, mind you, I've never played Shinobi, nor have I looked at her moveset yet. I purchased the Season Pass and haven't played with this character at all. And this is what drives me nuts, is this character has so much damn mobility, and I think they have the lowest health in the game, if I'm not mistaken, but they are annoying. They are really annoying. And I don't want to play characters that are all about light spam. It feels really cheesy. Nobushi. Lots of long-range light attacks, and in some cases, that kick loop that you can get stuck into, where they keep applying the bleed on you, have fun with that. But, at least with this character, it's a lot easier to get parries off. And that's what really shuts down Nobushi in my eyes, is if you can get the parries off, and you know what to look for. Now, when it comes to some duels, you're going to have people that feint a lot, and I try to feint my strong attack, my RT, going in. Because if I see them feint, I know they're going to be baiting me for their own parry, or they're going to attack me from another angle, so I need to stop that strong attack, and I've been getting a lot better at that. And it's a lot easier with classes like Nobushi as your opponent, where their attack speed is still fast, but you have enough reaction time to where it feels fair. That's the big difference I see between games like Dark Souls or Soul Calibur and whatnot. I don't run into situations where there's a lot of large loops that get you stuck in a forever combo. sure, in Dark Souls 1 you had backstabbing loops, and that was annoying, but if you were decent with your positioning and you didn't let them get behind you as much, it wasn't a huge issue, for me at least. I've seen some YouTube videos of poor bastards getting backstabbed repeatedly, and that sucks. I was never in that situation, thankfully. But this fucker, Orochi can suck my dick. Okay? First and foremost, they have the dash. They back up and they can turn that into a guard break. They can turn that into an attack from any direction, or they can ignore it entirely and do another dash into one of your sides. It gives them such an enormous advantage on the mind game in the opening. Like, you don't know where they're going to go. So you're forced to react. You can't really read your opponent unless they do the same thing over and over and over. And a smart Orochi isn't going to do that. They're going to find opportunities to open you up for light spam. And then, once they start, they're going to get as much in as they can before they're blocked and then gain distance. Because as soon as they're blocked, their chain is done. So they have to back up and start again. And those Orochis are the ones I have problems with. Because they can easily get their 3 attacks off, at least. And that drives me insane. Some people will say, well, put yourself in neutral stance, in top stance. Well, here's what I have to say to that. A lot of Orochis will hit you from the sides, especially if they start with a shadow dash. And while it is commendable to leave yourself in top stance, the Orochi is probably well aware as to why you're doing it. And if they see that you're in top stance, they're just going to wait for the opportunity to get their 3-hit bullshit on you. And as you just saw in my recording, it's too fast to really realistically react to. Which is why I hate these characters, because they're so damn fast. And I'm running the game at max settings, 60 FPS, 1080p. So when people want to argue, oh, lower your graphics for a better frame rate, I have 8 gigabytes of video RAM. I'm over 1400 clock rate on that damn graphics card. And I have a 4.2 gigahertz processor. Why the hell should I lower my settings for arguably a result that won't work because I have a 60Hz monitor? Sure, there's frame dips, but I never notice them if they've happened. I never even took notice. But what really annoys me on, say, the Kensei is just like the Orochi, his dash attacks piss me off so much because they give them so much opportunity that a lot of other characters like the Warden don't have. Or the Conqueror even. Like, I hate fighting Conk. But at least when fighting Conqueror, he's straightforward about how he's going to fuck you. He's going to take that dirty little shield, and he's going to shove it up your ass with his flail spinning around your throat. Whereas the Orochi has so many ways to open a fight to get the light spam chain started. The Aramusha has 3 different ways to open. They can either wait for you to attack and then just fuck you over, or they can get their dashes off. They have 2 separate strong attacks from Sprint that are really good openers. Not to mention, I haven't actually played him before. I only watched his videos. And I watched other people play him on YouTube, and it's disgusting. This guy is gross. He's the worst thing I could think of fighting. And thankfully I don't run into him a lot. And when I fight a good Shigoki, like I have a buddy who really baits me a lot, and it's kind of funny. He'll bait me into getting the dirty hug of Shrek. And at least then, I don't feel like it was due to cheese. I feel like that's my own fault. Completely my own fault. And that there were other ways to maybe approach it. I like fighting Shigoki because it feels very fair. I like fighting Lawbringer or Peacekeeper, or hell, even Centurion doesn't feel bullshit to me. I've kind of gotten it down fighting Centurion. at least around my level. Maybe it'll get a little bit more chittery later on. But, yeah. Hell, Gladiator, when I fight gladiators in dueling, yeah, they'll punch me a lot. They'll get their toe stabs and occasional skewer off a deflect. But it doesn't feel dirty, even though they're all about dirty play. It feels like a class that has attacks that can logically be parried, but also, if you're smart with that fast attack speed that the Gladiator or Peacekeeper offer, rewarding to play and rewarding to fight against when you get those parries off. But I swear, when people say the Orochi's light attack is 300 milliseconds, you can suck my dick. That is at least 200 milliseconds or less. It is ridiculous. And for the inhuman bastards that are on so much caffeine or cocaine or whatever the hell you're on at this point, like, if you have 1,000 hours of experience in the same character, like, say you're a Rep 60 Warden, okay, you know what to do. I don't. Alright? And the only real reason I've gotten any gear is because I'm getting carried, honestly, by other players a lot. It's embarrassing, and I want to get better. But how can I get better when every other match I get into, I get wrecked? That's what I want to know. How am I supposed to learn from an experience that ends up with me getting light spammed to death? Which is, again, why I got Berserker. I wanted an assassin that felt fun and fair, and I didn't really like playing the Peacekeeper. It just felt meh to me. But in practice, playing the Berserker felt like a lot of fun. It didn't feel cheesy. It didn't feel gimmicky. It didn't feel like there was some underhand bullshit I had to play. It's very straightforward, this guy. I like it. And I'm definitely going to play more Berserker in the future. And to those people who see this video and are wondering if I'm ever going to like do more Doom, I'm probably not going to. This game is taking up a lot of my time, and with the Doom, it's fun, but all the recording shenanigans with it is getting on my nerves, and trying to get good footage with it is irritating. Anyhows, to the people who end up seeing this, I hope that there's any constructive feedback you can give me, or hell, even spar with me as that dirty Orochi. Show me all the things, because a skilled Orochi exists, alright? To those Orochi mains with, like, Rep 60 Orochis, they know what to do. They know what I'm talking about when I say there's a lot of different openings, and while they may not want to say it, that light spam is fucking evil. And I run into so many Orochis, and Orochi isn't the primary problem. It's part of the problem of counterattack. With really fast attack, mind you. Lawbringer may be a counterattacker, and sometimes he gets stuck in the loop where he guard breaks you, shoves, heavy attack, guard break, or it's more like heavy attack, shove, guard break, heavy attack, shove, guard break. And they'll do that until their stamina gets low. At least he doesn't have... It uses a lot of his stamina, so he can maybe do it 3 or 4 times, depending on his gear. It's not something you're endlessly stuck in until you're dead. It'll leave you pretty wounded, yes, but you can get away from a Lawbringer. You can't get away from an Orochi. And with Kenseis, they have very fast attacks as well. And some of their attacks are very slow. So there's this weird middle ground on the Kensei, where some of his side attacks in the combinations are very fast. And an experienced Kensei is frustrating to deal with in multiplayer for me, because he has so many options. And I get it, that experience is key here, but I don't have that experience. And I just spent an entire day playing mouse and keyboard to see if I would enjoy it, and while I think there's pros and cons to it, I think I prefer controller more, because 1, it feels more natural, and 2, the reliability of guarding, that dead zone, if you will, is infuriating, because sometimes I'll be going for a parry, and I'm the type of guy, when I play Chivalry, for instance, I want to move my mouse in the direction of my attacks. It's just instinctive because of the other games I've played. But this feels infuriating for mouse and keyboard, and I've seen some people competitively play with a controller and some competitively play with a mouse and keyboard on PC from what I've watched. I prefer controller. Anyways, that's really it for my Orochi rant, but yeah, the main purpose of this video, screw Orochis in lower ranks that pwn noobs and go seal clubbing on people like me. You are the bane of my existence in dueling, and I know later on I'm probably going to run into Aramushas that are going to make my life a living hell, or a Shinobi, or Nobushi that really know how to get that kick loop in. And I really hope that Ubisoft does something about this with Marching Fire, because I don't want more light spam characters. Except for the Monkey King. That guy looks fucking dank. The guy with the stick. I'm gonna call him the Monkey King because he reminds me of Wukong from Warframe. But I really enjoy characters like Highlander, or Shaman, even, or Valkyrie. The new Valkyrie, for Pete's sake, is easier to fight for me, and more predictable to fight for me, than this fucker. Screw this fucker. Essentially, the gist is, I have a lot of trouble with the samurai faction characters that are not Shigoki. I have a lot of trouble with those fast attacks. I should really end this video at this point. I'm very salty, and the sodium chloride that Orochis are going to derive from this is going to be great for them, because they're going to see a salty player like me and laugh. But you know what? This is what turns people away from this game, is the noob crushing Orochi, the noob crushing samurai faction. It's a lot more forgiving to fight a warden than it is to fight other classes in the samurai faction. I would much rather fight a rep 60 warden any day over a rep 8 Orochi who has all of his reps from the Orochi. If there's a rep 60 warden out there who wants to prove me wrong and show me that he's the bane of everyone's existence in life, cool. But I run into way more Orochis. I've only seen one rep 60 warden in Dominion, and he was amazing. He probably deserves to be amazing, because he put in all that effort and time to learn the class, much like I'm trying to do now. But I'm making this because when people tell me, parry Orochi, well, I want you to see my attempts to fight Orochi. I'm garbage at fighting Orochi. I don't like it. They make me angry. Very, very angry. But yeah. Goodbye.